edition, right? So we thought it'd be good to kind of reflect back because in many ways, the Indian internet couldn't have really changed more than it has since both of them started their company. So what we thought we'd do is have both of them talk a little bit about what's happened in the last 20 years and what they've learned, but more importantly, as we look at the next 10 or 20 years, what's likely to happen. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to start with, it's very interesting. So Sanjeev, you became an entrepreneur in 1990. Sanjeev started InfoEdge, founded InfoEdge in 1995. Naukri was launched in 97, right? And Deep, you started the company in 2000. So 1995, 2000. That's a long time. It's a long time, okay? That's why they're called OGs. So those of you, all the young entrepreneurs in the room, you want to be called an OG, you pretty much have to keep building for 20 years, okay? If you build for 5 years, it's nothing. So, okay. 10 to 11 years to go public. And if you want to accelerate now, things have improved a lot, so maybe you can go public in 6 or 7 years. Naukri is now what, 1 lakh crore market cap? InfoEdge is 1 lakh crore market cap, and MakeMyTrip is 11 billion, which is almost, and I think you crossed that sort of 12 billion mark. So both basically over $10 billion of market cap. But actually, a lot of that market cap has been created in the last 3 or 4 years, right? So, MakeMyTrip was at 2 billion
three for the longest time.
3 for the longest time, and then boom, over the last 2 years.
I stepped down, Rajesh ran the company.
Yeah, that's right. And then India travel obviously happened, and then same thing with MakeMyTrip. So clearly,
Okay, so look, early on, so when we started Naukri in 97, there was no venture capital, nothing. When we got some venture capital in 2000, very quickly those went down. And then again, there was no money. So I think from 1990, when I quit my job, to 2004, we ran on empty. There was no money. So I think you've got to be very frugal. Perhaps not now when there's enough money available, but in those days, you have to be very frugal. And survival was success. If you survived, you count it as success. And you keep surviving long enough, sooner or later some good things will happen. And that's what happened to us. In 2000 we got venture capital, in 2004 resilience. I think that's very important. That's the first thing.
Yeah, persistence, yeah.
Okay, second is, if you focus a lot on the consumer, the customer, and know the customer very well, and solve it, unsolve it, us, it happened to Zomato, it happened to Policybazaar. All based on insight about a gap in the market, insight about an unsolved problem, insight about some differentiated value prop. I'll stop it too. I'll let Deep.
Yeah, thank you. Otherwise, I had nothing to say. So, no, I can't argue with resilience. I think it's been pretty much our story too. But I would.
Any entrepreneur I meet, please don't check in for less than 4 to 5 years. You will not likely see green shoots till then. And if you give up too early, you never know what it will become. I mean, had we guys given up at some point of time, I definitely had those moments. I would feel terrible when I saw another OTA do really well and say, oh my God, we had all of that and more, but we gave up too early. This is definitely a case. Entrepreneurship is all about deferred gratification.
Who fixated about this was my plan and this is the only way of doing it. Keep your ear to the ground and be ready to pivot and move around because things will change, the market will change. So yeah, those would be my.
No, I tell you, 2000, they were the last .com to get funded in that era, and he told everyone this is the same. Got to take salary cuts. Whoever wants to stay, please stay. I'd love it. Let's talk. How they managed to put together some money, get an investor, and bought out the earlier reason. And in its last 25 years, I'm sure there have been others, but that's the closest. Shutdown moment, and somehow they cobbled together the money.
Telling our startups this to Deep and Sanjeev, which is, if you're dead, you can't build.
Like the older one, NASDAQ, I said, okay, and I'm saying to myself, this guy is smoking dope. बिजली नहीं आती है, 4 घंटे लोड शेडिंग होती है, जब बिजली आती है 160 वोल्टेज होती है, the ACs don't run, we can't afford batteries for our UPS, so the battery backup is 20 minutes only, right? We can't list in Pahad, forget about listing in NASDAQ, right? And I said, okay, I'll come back to you, right? And I went back and I tossed and turned for 2 days, because 8 crores is a lot of money, yeah. But guys say stuff like, we'll add value, we'll restructure your board. Now the restructure the board is me and my wife. I mean, you know. So how is that value addition? So I went back home. I didn't sleep for 2 days, and I tossed and turned, and I said, "What do I do?" And I got back to them finally, saying, "Thank you so much. We don't believe we're ready yet." So I asked one more question, but so I had worked in advertising and marketing for 5 years before I became an entrepreneur. So I knew advertising. I know if we spend 8 crores on advertising, we'll never get the money back. And right now we're breaking even, right? Right now making a profit, and we'll definitely make a loss then. And I don't want.
Very clear. ऐसा नहीं बनेगा.
This is the problem with Indian entrepreneurs. You want to make a profit on the internet, you don't have vision. That's the problem. You don't know how to run an internet business. So anyway, I went back and I got back and said, "Thank you so much, but we rather right now we're not ready to receive money. We'll do it later." Now, what happened was that 6 months later, Jobs had got funded with the launch ad budget. Which was
Those are the two.
No, more than.
No, but just give us like total 4, 5, how many?
5, 6.
5, 6. Okay, Deep, how many? Just give us like roughly. How many?
Yeah, I mean that whole period for us, 2001 to 2003 was value of death. So literally,
Like every 6 months you'd be like,
we never had more than 2 months payroll and 2 months rent.
that is insane.
And
Okay, founders, you have to listen to that.
2 months.
Never had more than.
That's how people talk today.
That's
I mean,
amazing. That high single digit transactions on air flight.
Low
bookings.
single digit pure, high
Pure.
single digit hybrid.
Oh, okay, got it. All right, we have a couple of minutes left, so maybe we can take 2 or 3 questions.
In fact, analysts are attributing more value to Blinkit than to food delivery right now. Some analysts. Okay, now, I'm not saying that's a reality. I'm just saying what a couple of analysts have said. Right? But what we believe, what I believe, and the reason why InfoEdge is so optimistic about Zomato and we continue to hold and not sell.
Do you ever sell it?
I can't say that.
That's just true. You can't say it. 15% of the company.
Okay. But left to myself, probably not.
Because 15% of 100 billion is 15 billion. That's like a big number.
So I
It's
think
like 1.2 lakh crore.
No, but what excites us about Zomato currently is that they are in with a credible shot at becoming India's largest e-commerce company across all categories. Okay, so Flipkart, I think the last trade happened at $30 billion, 30 to 32. A secondary. I have heard, I'm not sure. Right? Zomato is 30 billion already. And
All right,
Flipkart
well,
is
with
already-
that, there's no better way to run. Zomato is going to be the largest e-commerce company in India as per valuation.
It can be.
It can be. Everything is possibility. Well, guys, give a big round of applause to Deep and Sanjeev.
Thank you to our esteemed panelists for such a remarkable session. We'd like